First contact gone wrong. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the UES Starship, humanity's most advanced deep space exploration vessel. Captain Zara Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing an uncharted solar system. After years of searching, they had finally found signs of an advanced alien civilization. "Status report, Commander Reeves," Zara called out, her voice steady despite the excitement coursing through her veins. Commander Alex Reeves, the ship's science officer, looked up from his console. "Captain, we're detecting multiple artificial structures on the fourth planet. Definitely not natural formations. We've also picked up some sort of energy signature unlike anything we've seen before." Zara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems we've made first contact. Let's do this by the book. Lieutenant Garcia, broadcast our first contact package on all frequencies." Lieutenant Sofia Garcia, the communications officer, quickly complied. "Aye, Captain. Broadcasting now." The bridge fell silent as they waited for a response. Minutes ticked by, feeling like hours. Suddenly, Sophia's console lit up. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike anything they had ever seen. It appeared to be a mass of shimmering, iridescent tendrils surrounding a central core that pulsed with bioluminescent light. When it spoke, the universal translator struggled to keep up. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered Zarquin space. State your purpose or be destroyed." Zara stepped forward, her posture straight and confident. "I am Captain Zara Chen of the United Earth ship Starship. We come in peace, seeking friendship and knowledge exchange between our species." The alien being's tendrils writhed in what they could only assume was agitation. "Peace? Your kind knows nothing of peace. We have observed your transmissions, your violent history. You are a plague upon the galaxy, and we will not allow you to spread." Before Zara could respond, the view screen went dark. Alarms blared across the bridge as Tactical Officer Lieutenant Commander Jamal Nassar shouted, "Captain, they're powering up weapons. Energy readings are off the charts." Zara's mind raced. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. "Shields up. Evasive maneuvers." She turned to Sophia. "Keep broadcasting our peaceful intentions. There has to be a way to." Her words were cut short as the ship rocked violently. The Zarquin weapon had torn through their shields like they weren't even there. "Hull breach on decks 3 through 7. Jamal called out, his fingers flying over his console. "Our weapons are having no effect on their shields." Zara gripped the arms of her chair, her mind working furiously. They were outgunned and outmatched, but she refused to give up. "Engineering, route all power to the engines. We need to get out of here." Chief Engineer Dr. Imani Okoro's voice came over the comm, strained but determined. "Captain, I have an idea. It's risky, but it might buy us some time." "At this point, I'm open to anything, Imani. What do you have?" "We can overload the quantum flux drive. Create a controlled implosion. It won't destroy their ship, but the energy burst might disrupt their weapons long enough for us to escape." Zara didn't hesitate. "Do it." The next few minutes were a blur of activity as Imani and her team worked to modify the quantum flux drive. The rest of the crew fought to keep the ship in one piece as the Zarquin weapons continued to pound against their failing defenses. "Imani, we're running out of time," Zara called out as another hit rocked the ship. "Ready, Captain. On your mark." Zara took a deep breath. "All hands, brace for impact. Imani, now." A blinding flash of light erupted from the Starship, engulfing both ships. For a moment, everything went silent. Then, as the light faded, Zara saw their chance. "Helm, get us out of here. Maximum speed." The Starship lurched forward, streaking away from the Zarquin vessel. On the view screen, they could see the alien ship tumbling, its weapons temporarily disabled. As they put distance between themselves and the hostile aliens, Zara allowed herself a moment of relief. But she knew this was only the beginning. They had survived, but at what cost? And what would this mean for humanity's place in the galaxy? "Damage report," she called out, her voice hoarse. Commander Reeves responded, his usual calm demeanor shaken. "We've lost a third of the ship, Captain. Life support is holding, but barely. We won't be able to maintain our current speed for long." Zara nodded grimly. "Set course for the nearest human outpost. We need to warn Earth about what we've encountered." She looked around at her battered but unbroken crew. "Good work, everyone. We're not out of this yet, but we've shown them that humanity isn't to be underestimated." As the Starchaser limped away, carrying news of humanity's violent first contact, Zora couldn't help but wonder what challenges lay ahead. One thing was certain. The galaxy had just become a much more dangerous place, and humanity would need every ounce of its legendary resilience to survive. Little did they know, their actions during this encounter would send ripples across the galaxy, forever changing the course of interstellar relations. The legend of the UES Starchaser and its crew would grow, becoming a rallying cry for humanity as they faced the challenges that lay ahead. Back on the Zarquin ship, the alien commander, a being known as Selthor, seethed with rage. How had these primitive humans managed to escape? Their databases had shown a species barely capable of interstellar travel, yet they had displayed technology and tactics far beyond what was expected. "Track them," Selthor demanded, its tendrils lashing out in fury. "We cannot allow them to reach their homeworld. The infestation must be contained." As the Zarquin ship began its pursuit, a message was already being sent to the Galactic Council. The humans, long observed but deemed harmless, had just proven themselves to be a significant threat. The peace that had reigned in this sector of the galaxy for millennia was about to be shattered. Aboard the Starchaser, Captain Chen called an emergency meeting of her senior staff. They gathered in the auxiliary control room, as the main bridge was still undergoing emergency repairs. "We need options," Zara said, looking at each of her officers in turn. "We're damaged, outgunned, and a long way from home. But we're also the only ones who know what's coming. Humanity needs to be warned and prepared." Commander Reeves spoke up first. "Captain, I've been analyzing the data we collected during the encounter. This Zarquin technology is advanced, but it's not unbeatable. Their energy weapons seem to operate on principles we haven't encountered before, which is why our shields were ineffective." "Can we adapt?" Zara asked. Dr. Okoro nodded enthusiastically. "I think so, Captain. Now that we know what we're dealing with, we can start working on countermeasures. Give me and my team a few days, and we might be able to rig up something to even the odds." "We may not have a few days," Jamal interjected, his face grim. "Long-range sensors are picking up multiple ships on an intercept course. They're still far out, but they're moving fast." Zara's mind raced. They needed time, but they also needed to warn Earth. An idea began to form. "Sophia, is the quantum entanglement communicator still operational?" The communications officer nodded. "Yes, Captain. It's one of the few systems that wasn't damaged in the attack." "Good. We're going to send a message to Earth, but not in the way they're expecting." Zara turned to Reeves. "Commander, I need you to compile all the data we have on the Zarquin, their technology, their tactics, everything. Imani, I want your preliminary ideas for countermeasures. Jamal, give me a full tactical analysis of their strengths and weaknesses." As her officers rushed to comply, Zora allowed herself a small smile. They might be outgunned, but they weren't outmatched. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats before, from their own world and beyond. Each time, they had not only survived but thrived. "They think we're a plague," Zora mused aloud. "Well, they're about to learn that this plague has one hell of an immune system." As the UES Starchaser raced through the stars, carrying with it humanity's first violent encounter with alien life, the stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. The echoes of humanity's defiance would soon be heard across the cosmos, heralding the arrival of a species that refused to go quietly into the night. The battle for survival had begun, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. The human response. The quantum entanglement message from the UES Starchaser hit Earth like a supernova. In the United Earth Defense Command Center, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, alarms blared as the encrypted transmission came through. General Lydia Frost, a veteran of the Mars Rebellion and current head of Earth's defense forces, stood before a massive holographic display, her cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the incoming data. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the chaos of the command center. Colonel Jasper Wong, her right-hand man, stepped forward. "General, we've received a Priority 1 transmission from the UES Starchaser. They've made first contact with an advanced alien species called the Zarquin. It didn't go well." Frost's organic eye narrowed. "Defined, didn't go well, Colonel. The aliens attacked without provocation, ma'am. The Starchaser barely escaped. They're on the run, but they've managed to gather crucial intel on the Zarquin's capabilities." Frost absorbed the information, her mind already racing through scenarios and contingencies. "Sound the alarm. I want every ship we have recalled to Earth immediately. Bring all orbital defense platforms online and begin evacuating non-essential personnel to the underground shelters." As her orders were relayed, Frost turned to a secure console and entered a series of complex codes. A moment later, a holographic projection of the United Earth President, Adebayo Okafor, appeared before her. "Madam President, we have a situation," Frost began, her voice grim. President Okafor listened intently as Frost briefed her on the Starchaser's encounter and the impending threat. When Frost finished, the president's face was a mask of determination. "General, you have full authority to do whatever is necessary to protect Earth and her colonies. Invoke the Omega Protocol." Frost's cybernetic eye flashed. The Omega Protocol was a last resort measure, granting her near-dictatorial powers in the face of an extinction-level threat. "Understood, Madam President. We'll make humanity proud." As the projection faded, Frost turned back to her staff. "You heard the President. Omega Protocol is in effect. I want Project Prometheus brought online immediately." A hush fell over the command center. Project Prometheus was Earth's best-kept secret, a weapon of last resort that many hoped would never see the light of day. Colonel Wong hesitated. "General, are you sure? The potential consequences of using Prometheus are less severe than extinction." Frost finished, her voice steel. "Humanity has always walked the knife's edge between creation and destruction. It's time to show these aliens exactly what that means." As Earth mobilized for war, news of the alien threats spread like wildfire across the solar system. On Mars, Governor Elena Martinez declared a state of emergency, redirecting the planet's considerable industrial might towards the war effort. The shipyards of Phobos and Deimos, usually busy with civilian vessels, now churned out warships at a feverish pace. In the asteroid belt, mining operations transformed overnight into weapons factories. The rugged belters, long accustomed to the harsh realities of space, took to the task with grim determination. Asteroids were hollowed out and turned into hidden bases and munitions depots. Even the distant outposts of the outer solar system rallied to the cause. The ice miners of Europa and the scientists of Titan sent word that they would contribute everything they could to Earth's defense. Back on Earth, in the sprawling Nairobi Space Elevator Complex, Dr. Kwasi Okoro, brother of the Starchaser's chief engineer, worked tirelessly with his team to bring Project Prometheus online. The massive structure hummed with energy as experimental technologies, once deemed too dangerous or unstable for practical use, were integrated into Earth's defense grid. Dr. Okoro, one of his assistants, called out, her voice tinged with worry. "The quantum field harmonics are fluctuating beyond safe parameters. If we push any harder, we risk a cascade failure that could take out half the continent." Kwasi wiped the sweat from his brow. his eyes never leaving the complex equations scrolling across his holographic display. "We don't have a choice. My sister and her crew are out there, buying us time with their lives. We can't let them down." He made a series of rapid adjustments, reroute power from the auxiliary generators, and prepare for full-spectrum quantum entanglement. As Project Prometheus slowly came to life, General Frost coordinated Earth's defenses. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier was being prepared for the coming storm. But Frost knew that conventional warfare might not be enough against an enemy as advanced as the Zarquin. In a secure briefing room, she addressed the leaders of Earth's most elite Special Forces units. "Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you is classified beyond top secret. We have reason to believe that humanity possesses certain, unique traits that the Zarquin and their allies fear, traits that we've only begun to understand ourselves." She activated a holographic display, showing data from classified experiments and incidents that had been hidden from the public eye for decades. Psychic abilities, rapid evolutionary adaptation, extreme durability in the face of cosmic radiation. These are just a few of the anomalies we've documented. Up until now, these traits have manifested rarely and unpredictably. But Project Prometheus aims to change that. The room erupted in murmurs of disbelief and excitement. Frost let it continue for a moment before raising her hand for silence. "Your mission is to form the core of our new Vanguard units. You'll be the first to undergo the Prometheus enhancements. If we're successful, you'll be the prototypes for a new breed of human defender, one capable of going toe-to-toe with whatever the galaxy throws at us." As Earth prepared for war, the UES Starchaser continued its desperate flight through space. Captain Zara Chen watched as her crew worked tirelessly to repair their ship and prepare for the battles to come. The quantum entanglement communicator had successfully transmitted their warning to Earth, along with all the data they'd gathered on the Zarquin and the larger galactic community. "Status report," Zara called out, her voice carrying the weight of command and the exhaustion of days without rest. Commander Reeves looked up from his station. "Good news, Captain. We've managed to boost our engine efficiency by 15%. Bad news is, long-range sensors confirm multiple ships on an intercept course. At least 3 distinct designs, likely a coalition of alien species. They'll be within weapons range in approximately 12 hours. Zara nodded grimly. "And our defenses." Dr. Okoro's voice came over the comm, excitement evident despite the dire circumstances. "Captain, you're going to love this. We've managed to adapt some of the Zarquin energy principles to our own systems. Our shields should now be effective against their weapons, and we've even managed to boost our own offensive capabilities." For the first time in days, Zora allowed herself a genuine smile. "Excellent work, Imani. How long until these upgrades are combat ready?" "We'll be cutting it close, Captain. 10 hours, maybe 11 if we push it." "Then push it, Doctor. We need every advantage we can get." Zora turned to her tactical officer. "Jamal, start running combat simulations with our new capabilities. I want every member of this crew ready for what's coming." As the Starchaser raced through space, its crew working frantically to prepare for the coming battle, they were unaware of the ripples their actions had caused across the galaxy. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, representatives from 1,000 species gathered to discuss this new threat to their carefully maintained peace. High Counselor Zixpera, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate crystalline structure, called the session to order. "Esteemed colleagues, we face an unprecedented crisis. The species known as humans have revealed themselves to be far more dangerous than our initial observations suggested." Murmurs rippled through the chamber as holographic displays showed footage from the Zarquin encounter with the UES Starchaser. Many counselors recoiled at the sight of the human ship, so alien in its design compared to the organic aesthetics favored by most galactic civilizations. "As you can see," Zixpera continued, "these humans displayed technology and tactics far beyond their expected capabilities. The Zarquin, one of our most advanced member species, were caught off guard and very nearly defeated. A reptilian being from the Draconis Confederation rose to speak. "High Counselor, surely you exaggerate. How could a species barely capable of interstellar travel pose such a threat?" Before Zixvera could respond, another counselor, a multi-limbed insectoid from the Hive Collective, interjected. "Do not underestimate them, Counselor Shurik. Our deep space monitoring stations have been observing Earth for centuries. These humans are unlike any species we've encountered before." The insectoid activated a holographic display showing scenes from human history. "Look at their progression from primitive tool users to a spacefaring civilization in mere millennia. Their rate of technological advancement is unparalleled." As the Galactic Council debated, unaware that their own transmissions were being intercepted by human listening posts, the stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the cosmic order. Humanity, long dismissed as a primitive curiosity, was about to show the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. In the depths of space, aboard the Starship, Captain Zara Chen addressed her crew one final time before the coming battle. "Men and women of the Starship, I won't lie to you. The odds we face are steep, but we are the vanguard of humanity, the first line of defense against a threat that would see our species extinguished. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of every human being, from the skyscrapers of Earth to the farthest outposts of our colonies. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we declare in one voice, we will not go gentle into that good night." A cheer went up from the crew, a defiant roar against the vastness of space and the enemies that awaited them. As the alien fleet drew closer, humanity stood ready to fight or its place among the stars. The galactic stage. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension as representatives from across the cosmos debated the human threat. The ornate hall, with its swirling nebula-like ceiling and seats crafted from materials unknown to Earth science, seemed to vibrate with the intensity of the discussion. High Counselor Zixvera's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained frustration. "Order. We must have order." The chamber gradually fell silent, all eyes turning to the energy being. "The situation with the humans has escalated beyond our initial projections. Our deep space monitors have detected a massive mobilization within their solar system. They are preparing for war on a scale unprecedented for such a young species." A holographic display materialized in the center of the chamber, showing the frenetic activity around Earth and its colonies. Warships were being constructed at breakneck speed. Defensive platforms were coming online, and strange energy readings were emanating from several locations on the planet's surface. Counselor Thrix, a gaseous entity from the nebula Concordat, spoke up. "High Counselor, with all due respect, I fail to see how this primitive species poses such a threat. Surely our combined might can easily subjugate them." Zixvera's form flickered, a sign of agitation. "Do not be so quick to dismiss them, Counselor. The Zarquin encounter has shown us that the humans possess technology far beyond what we believe them capable of. And there's more." The holographic display shifted, showing classified footage from Earth's history, scenes of humans displaying remarkable resilience, adaptability, and in some cases, abilities that defied explanation. "Our long-term observation of Earth has revealed anomalies," Zixvera continued. "Instances of rapid evolutionary adaptation, resistance to cosmic radiation far beyond the norm, and even rare cases of what they term psychic abilities. If the humans have found a way to harness these traits..." The implications hung heavy in the air. Counselor Kazov, a hive-mind entity representing thousands of interconnected organisms, spoke next. "We cannot allow them to spread. The risk to galactic stability is too great. I propose immediate and overwhelming action to contain the human threat." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, but they were cut short by an unexpected voice. "And what if we're making a terrible mistake?" All eyes turned to Ambassador Lyra, representative of the Arcturian Harmony, a species known for their pacifism and deep empathy. She stood, her luminescent form glowing softly. We speak of containment and subjugation, but have we truly attempted to understand the humans? Their response is born of fear and a desire to protect their own. Are we not doing the same? Kazoth's many voices hissed in unison. Your sympathy is misplaced, Ambassador. The humans have already demonstrated their violent nature. They are a plague that must be contained. As the debate raged on, none in the chamber noticed the small, nondescript device hidden in the shadows, silently transmitting every word to a location far beyond their knowledge. Deep in the bowels of a secret facility on Mars, Dr. Elena Volkov, Earth's foremost xenolinguist and cryptographer, worked feverishly to decode the intercepted Galactic Council transmissions. Her eyes, augmented with cutting-edge cybernetics, scanned the alien languages at inhuman speeds. "This is unprecedented," she muttered, her fingers flying over holographic interfaces. "The linguistic diversity, the concepts they're discussing. It's beyond anything we've ever encountered." Colonel Ramirez, the facility's military liaison, paced behind her. "Cut to the chase, Doctor. What are they saying about us?" Elena's expression was grim as she turned to face him. "They're afraid, Colonel. More afraid than I think even they realize. They see us as a threat, not just to their power, but to the very fabric of their society." She paused, considering her next words carefully. "But there's dissent among them. Not everyone agrees on how to handle us. We might be able to use that to our advantage." Ramirez nodded, his cybernetic hand clenching and unclenching unconsciously. "I'll relay this to General Frost immediately. Keep working on those transmissions, Doctor. Any edge we can get could mean the difference between survival and extinction." As Ramirez left, Elena turned back to her work, her mind racing with the implications of what she'd discovered. The fate of humanity might well rest on her ability to understand their newfound galactic neighbors. Aboard the UES Starchaser, now joined by a small fleet of hastily assembled human warships, Captain Zura Chen stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The enemy fleet was closing in, a diverse array of alien vessels that dwarfed their own in both size and number. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the air. Commander Reeves responded, his fingers dancing over his console. "Enemy fleet will be in weapons range in 30 minutes, Captain. Our new shields are holding stable, and weapons systems are online." "But," he hesitated. "Speak freely, Commander," Zura encouraged. Reeves sighed. "We're still outgunned, Captain. Even with the reinforcements from Earth and the upgrades Dr. Okoro managed to implement, this is going to be one hell of a fight." Zura nodded grimly. "Then we'll just have to be smarter than them. Tactical, analyze their fleet composition. Look for weaknesses, unusual formations, anything we can exploit." As her crew worked, Zura's mind raced through possibilities. They needed an edge, something unexpected that could turn the tide of battle. Suddenly, Lieutenant Garcia's voice cut through the tension. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet." Zura's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "On screen," she commanded. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that seemed to be composed of pure energy, contained within a crystalline structure. When it spoke, the universal translator struggled to keep up. "Humans of the vessel Starchaser, I am High Counselor Zixfera of the Galactic Council. Your actions have brought our civilizations to the brink of war. But it is not too late to avoid bloodshed. Surrender now, submit to containment, and your lives will be spared." Zura felt the eyes of her entire crew upon her. The fate of humanity might well rest on her next words. She took a deep breath, then stepped forward. "High Counselor Zixfera, I am Captain Zura Chen of the United Earth ship Starchaser. We did not come seeking war, but neither will we submit to unjust containment. We are a young species, yes, but we have a right to exist, to grow, to find our place among the stars. If you truly seek to avoid bloodshed, then meet with us. Talk with us. Understand us. For if you choose war, know this: Humanity will fight with everything we have. We will not go quietly into the night." There was a long moment of silence as Zixfera seemed to consider Zora's words. Finally, the alien spoke again. "Your offer is unexpected, Captain Chen. Perhaps there is more to your species than we initially believed. I will confer with the Council. You have one of your Earth hours to prepare a delegation for negotiations. Choose wisely, for the fate of your species may depend on it." As the transmission cut off, a cheer went up from the Starchaser's crew. They had bought themselves time, a chance, however slim, to avoid all-out war. Zara turned to her senior staff. "We've got 1 hour to put together a diplomatic team that can convince a galactic civilization not to wipe us out. I need options, people." As the crew scrambled to prepare, none of them noticed the small, almost imperceptible ripple in space near the Starchaser's hull. A ripple that, if they had seen it, might have changed everything. Back on Earth, in the heart of Project Prometheus, Dr. Kwasi Okoro stood before a massive containment chamber, his face illuminated by the swirling energies within. General Frost stood beside him, her cybernetic eye whirring as it analyzed the readings. "Is it ready?" Frost asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Kwasi nodded slowly. "As ready as it will ever be, General. But the risks are less than the risk of extinction." Frost finished. She placed a hand on the scientist's shoulder. "Your sister and her crew have bought us a chance at diplomacy. But if that fails, this may be our only hope." Inside the chamber, the energies coalesced into a vaguely humanoid shape, pulsing with power that defied conventional physics. Project Prometheus, humanity's ace in the hole, waited silently for the moment it would be unleashed upon an unsuspecting galaxy. As the hour of negotiation approached, the stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate not just of humanity, but of the entire galactic order. In this cosmic game of chess, every move would count. Every word could tip the balance between peace and annihilation. The galactic stage was set, and humanity was about to make its debut performance. The question that hung in the vacuum of space, unspoken but felt by all. Would it be a tragedy or a triumph? The battle begins. The diplomatic chamber aboard the Galactic Council's flagship was a marvel of alien architecture. Swirling patterns of light danced across walls that seemed to be made of living crystal, and the air hummed with an energy that made the hair on the back of Captain Zara Chen's neck stand on end. Zara stood at the head of the human delegation, a carefully chosen team that included Commander Reeves for his scientific expertise, Dr. Okoro for her engineering knowledge, and Lieutenant Garcia for her communication skills. They faced an array of alien representatives, each more bizarre than the last. At the center sat High Counselor Zixfera, its crystalline form pulsing with barely contained energy. "You stand before the Galactic Council." Zixfera's voice resonated through the chamber. "Speak, humans. Convince us why we should not end your threat to galactic stability here and now." Zara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her entire species on her shoulders. "Esteemed members of the Council," she began, her voice steady and clear. "We come before you not as a threat, but as seekers of knowledge and peaceful coexistence. Humanity has only just taken its first steps into the cosmic community. We are eager to learn, to grow, to contribute to the galactic tapestry." She gestured to her team. "We bring with us the best of what humanity has to offer: our curiosity, our adaptability, our unyielding spirit of exploration. Yes, we have a history of conflict, but we have also shown an incredible capacity for cooperation, for overcoming our differences to achieve greatness." As Zara spoke, holographic displays sprang to life around the chamber, showing scenes from human history: the first moon landing, the unification of Earth's nations, breakthrough scientific discoveries. "We do not deny that we are different," Zora continued. "Our rapid advancement, our unique traits, these are not weapons to be feared, but tools that could benefit all species. Imagine what we could achieve together, how we could push the boundaries of science and exploration. The chamber was silent for a long moment as the council members absorbed her words. Then, a multi-limbed insectoid leaned forward. "Pretty words, human. But actions speak louder. Your first interaction with the Zarquin ended in violence. How can we trust that you won't bring war and chaos to our carefully balanced order?" Before Zara could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. A Zarquin officer burst into the chamber. "High Counselor, we're under attack." The diplomatic chamber erupted into chaos. Zixvera's form flared brightly. "What is the meaning of this, humans? Is this your idea of peaceful negotiation?" Zara's face paled. "This isn't us. We're here in good faith." The main view screen activated, showing a battle unfolding in space. But to Zara's shock, it wasn't human ships attacking. A new fleet had appeared, their ships unlike anything she had ever seen. They moved with impossible speed, their weapons tearing through both human and Galactic Council defenses alike. "Unknown vessels," Zixvera's voice boomed over the comms. "You are violating Galactic Council space. Cease your attack immediately or face the consequences." The response came not in words, but in a surge of aboard the Galactic Council flagship, now transformed into a joint command center. Zixvera turned to Zara. "Your species fights with admirable courage, Captain Chen. But courage alone may not be enough. We are outnumbered and outgunned." Zara's mind raced. They needed something to turn the tide, a game changer. Suddenly, her comm crackled to life. "Captain Chen, this is General Frost. Project Prometheus is ready. Requesting your authorization for deployment." Zara hesitated. Project Prometheus was humanity's last resort, a weapon of unimaginable power and unpredictable consequences. Using it could save them from this unknown enemy, but it could also confirm the Galactic Council's worst fears about humanity. She looked at Zixvera, saw the desperation in its pulsing form, then at the tactical display showing their dwindling forces. The choice was clear. "General Frost, you have authorization. Deploy Project Prometheus." The response was immediate. "Understood, Captain. May whatever gods are out there have mercy on us all." In the depths of space, reality itself seemed to twist. A point of light appeared, growing rapidly into a swirling vortex of energy. From within emerged a being of pure energy, vaguely humanoid in shape, but radiating power that defied comprehension. The unknown enemy fleet turned their attention to this new threat, concentrating their fire, but their weapons seemed to pass harmlessly through the energy being. In response, it raised what might have been an arm, and entire enemy ships simply ceased to exist. The battle's tide turned dramatically, the Prometheus being moved through space with impossible speed, neutralizing enemy ships with terrifying efficiency. But its power seemed indiscriminate, and more than once, Zara had to order Allied ships to give it a wide berth. As the last of the unknown enemy vessels were destroyed or retreated, an uneasy silence fell over the battlefield. The Prometheus being hung in space, its purpose fulfilled but its nature still a mystery. Zixvera's voice broke the silence. "Captain Chen, what have you done? What is that thing?" Zara took a deep breath. "That, High Counselor, is Project Prometheus, humanity's last line of defense, and perhaps our greatest mistake. I pray we never have to use it again." As the dust of battle settled, the survivors faced a galaxy forever changed. The unknown enemy had been repelled, but at what cost? The lines between ally and potential threat had blurred. Humanity had proven its worth in battle, but also revealed the terrifying depths of its capabilities. Zara stared out at the Prometheus being, still hovering in space, and wondered what the future would hold. They had survived the battle, but the war, both against external threats and for their place in the galactic community, was far from over. As ships from both fleets began the solemn task of rescue and recovery, Zara knew that the real challenge was just beginning. Humanity had made its stand among the stars, for better or for worse. What came next would determine not just their fate, but the fate of the entire galaxy. The battle was over, but the true test of humanity's place in the cosmos was about to begin. Humanity's stand. The aftermath of the battle hung in space like a shroud. Debris from destroyed ships, both alien and human, drifted silently against the backdrop of distant stars. Aboard the UES Starship, now serving as a makeshift command center for the Joint Human Galactic Council forces, Captain Zara Chen stood before a gathering of leaders from across the cosmos. The chamber was tense, filled with a mix of awe, fear, and uncertainty. At the center of it all, the holographic image of Project Prometheus pulsed gently, a constant reminder of the power humanity had unleashed. High Counselor Zixpera's crystalline form shimmered as it addressed the gathering. We stand at a crossroads. The threat we face together has been vanquished, but at a cost none of us could have foreseen. Humanity, it turned toward Zora. You have proven yourselves to be both invaluable allies and potentially our greatest threat. Murmurs rippled through the assembled aliens. Zara stepped forward, her posture straight and confident despite the exhaustion evident in her eyes. High Counselor, esteemed members of the Galactic Council, I understand your fears. Project Prometheus is a power beyond even our full understanding, but I ask you to consider not just its destructive potential, but what it represents: humanity's ultimate commitment to survival, to protecting not just ourselves, but all sentient life. She gestured to the viewport, where rescue operations were underway, human and alien ships working side by side. Look out there. In our darkest hour, we chose to stand together. We combined our strengths, shared our knowledge, and achieved what neither of us could have done alone. This is the true face of humanity, not just our weapons or our technology, but our unwavering spirit of cooperation and our ability to adapt. A reptilian being, Admiral Kavex of the Draconian Imperium, hissed softly. Pretty words, human, but they do not change the fact that you now possess a weapon capable of reshaping the very fabric of space-time. How can we trust that you won't use it against us? Before Zara could respond, an unexpected voice joined the conversation. Dr. Elena Volkov, Earth's xenolinguist who had been quietly observing, stepped forward. If I may, Captain. Zara nodded, and Elena addressed the gathering. Esteemed beings of the galaxy, I have spent my life studying the languages and cultures of Earth, and in all our myriad tongues, across all our diverse cultures, there is one constant: the desire for peace, for understanding, for connection. Yes, we have our conflicts, our darker impulses, but we also have an unparalleled capacity for empathy, for seeing ourselves in the other. She activated a holographic display, showing scenes from Earth's history, moments of international cooperation, scientific breakthroughs, artistic achievements. This is who we are. Project Prometheus is not a representation of humanity's desire for power, but of our ultimate commitment to life. We created it not to dominate, but to ensure that life, all life, has a chance to flourish in this vast, often hostile universe. The chamber fell silent as the assembled beings contemplated her words. Finally, a being of pure energy, Ambassador Lyra of the Arcturian Harmony, spoke. I sense the truth in your words, humans. You are indeed a paradox, capable of great destruction, but also of great creation. Perhaps this is exactly what our galactic community needs. High Counselor Zixpera's form pulsed thoughtfully. You have given us much to consider, humans, but words alone are not enough. If we are to move forward together, we need assurances, safeguards. Zara nodded. We understand, High Counselor. We propose a joint committee to oversee Project Prometheus, with representatives from Earth and the Galactic Council. Together, we can study it, understand it, and ensure it's never misused. Moreover, we offer to share our scientific knowledge, our unique perspectives. In return, we ask for a place at the galactic table, not as subordinates, but as equals. The debate that followed was intense, with arguments flying back and forth across the chamber. But as hours turned into days, a consensus began to emerge. Humanity, with its unique blend of ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer determination, could no longer be ignored or contained. They were, for better or worse, now players on the galactic stage. 1 week after the battle, in a ceremony broadcast across Earth and to every corner of known space, humanity was officially welcomed into the Galactic Council. The UES Starship, the ship that had started this journey, was chosen as the site for the signing of the Galactic Concordat, a new treaty that would reshape interstellar relations. As Zara put her signature on the document, finalizing humanity's entry into a larger universe, she couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. From that first, disastrous encounter with the Zaraquin, to the desperate battle against an unknown enemy, to this moment of hope and new beginnings. But even as celebration erupted across Earth and its colonies, Zara knew that challenges lay ahead. The unknown enemy that had attacked them remained a mystery, potentially still a threat. The power of Project Prometheus would need to be carefully managed, and humanity would need to navigate the complex politics of a galactic civilization, balancing their own interests with the greater good of all sentient life. Months passed, and the changes brought by humanity's inclusion in the Galactic Council began to manifest. Earth became a hub of interstellar activity, with alien embassies sprouting up alongside gleaming spaceports. Human scientists worked alongside alien researchers, tackling the universe's greatest mysteries. The first human-alien cultural exchange programs were launched, leading to a renaissance in art, music, and literature across the galaxy. Project Prometheus, under the watchful eye of the Joint Oversight Committee, was slowly revealing its secrets. The energy being, it turned out, was not a weapon in the traditional sense, but a manifestation of humanity's collective will and potential. As they learned to communicate with it, to guide its power, new possibilities in energy production, space travel, and even healing began to emerge. But perhaps the most profound change was in humanity itself. The knowledge that they were not alone in the universe, that they had a place among the stars, sparked a new age of unity and purpose on Earth. Old conflicts faded in importance as humanity turned its gaze outward, ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos might bring. 1 year to the day after the battle that had changed everything, Captain Zara Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Starship, a new ship built with a combination of human ingenuity and alien technology. Beside her stood Commander Reeves, Dr. Okoro, and a new addition to her crew, Zixfera, now serving as a liaison between humanity and the Galactic Council. "Course laid in, Captain," Lieutenant Garcia reported from her station. "We're ready to make history again." Zara nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "Then let's not keep the universe waiting. Helm, engage quantum drive. Let's see what's out there." As the Starship leaped into the unknown, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of Earth and its new galactic allies, Zara couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and anticipation. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had proven their worth among the stars. Humanity had made its stand, and the galaxy would never be the same. As the ship disappeared into the quantum stream, the stars seemed to twinkle just a bit brighter, as if in anticipation of the adventures to come. For in the vast expanse of the cosmos, a new chapter was beginning, one in which humanity would play a central role in shaping the destiny of all sentient life. The journey that had begun with a surprise attack on a human starship had led to this moment, and while challenges undoubtedly lay ahead, one thing was certain: humanity was ready to face them, standing tall among the stars.
The Declaration of Absolute Dominion. The crystalline throne room of the Zephyrian hegemony stretched upward for nearly a kilometer, its walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that told the story of 10,000 conquered worlds. Supreme Overlord Craxa Theta stood at the center of it all, his 4 metallic wings spread wide as holographic projections of star systems swirled around his towering form. His voice resonated through the assembled War Council like the death cry of a dying star. "The time has come to complete our manifest destiny across this galaxy. Every system, every world, every spark of consciousness must bow before the might of the Zephyrian hegemony. Today we turn our gaze upon the Sol system, where the primitive humans dare to exist without our blessing. War Minister Vexara stepped forward from the shadows, her bio-armor shifting colors from deep purple to blood red as she moved, the 12 eyes arranged in a crown pattern around her head, all focused on a single point in space where Earth's image floated. My lord, our intelligence suggests these humans are barely worth our attention. They still burn chemical fuel to reach their own moon. Their weapons are kinetic projectiles and crude nuclear devices. They haven't even achieved proper genetic modification of their species. Craxus Theta's mandibles clicked in what passed for amusement among his kind. His tail, covered in razor-sharp scales, swept across the floor, leaving deep grooves in the living metal. That is precisely why we must make an example of them. When the galaxy sees how we crush even the most insignificant species with our full might, none will dare resist us again. How many ships do we have prepared for this glorious conquest? The entire Third Armada awaits your command, Supreme Overlord. 700 dreadnoughts, 3,000 cruisers, and support craft beyond counting. We have reality-bending weapons that can turn their sun into a weapon against them. We have shields that exist in 17 dimensions simultaneously. We have warriors who have trained for centuries in the art of conquest. Meanwhile, several light-years away on the International Space Station, Commander Marcus Rivera was having a very different kind of crisis. The coffee machine had broken again, and no amount of percussive maintenance seemed to fix it. He floated in the observation module, staring at Earth below while sipping lukewarm instant coffee that tasted like disappointment and broken dreams. His colleague, Dr. Sarah Chen, drifted over with a tablet in her hand, her expression somewhere between amused and exasperated. Marcus, you need to see this. The Deep Space Monitoring Array is picking up some really weird signals. It looks almost like someone is broadcasting on every possible frequency at once. But the message is in some kind of pattern we've never seen before. Marcus barely glanced at the tablet. Sarah, unless those signals can fix our coffee machine or magically create real pizza instead of the freeze-dried cardboard we have, I honestly don't care right now. It's probably just another pulsar doing pulsar things. You know how space is. Always making weird noises. But this is different. The signals are definitely artificial, and they're coming from multiple sources that seem to be moving toward our solar system at impossible speeds. The computer estimates they'll be here within the next 72 hours. Marcus finally looked at the data, his engineer's mind automatically analyzing the patterns despite his caffeine-deprived state. That is weird. Have you told Houston about this? They love this kind of thing. Remember when they got all excited about that asteroid that turned out to be a frozen chunk of Soviet-era satellite? I sent the data packet an hour ago, but you know how it is down there. They're all focused on that global tech conference in Silicon Valley. Apparently, someone's announcing a new smartphone that can fold into 8 different configurations. The media is going crazy over it. Back in the Zephyrian throne room, the War Council was reaching a crescendo of military fervor. General Thexnil, veteran of 100 campaigns, projected a detailed battle plan into the air. The conquest will unfold in 3 phases. First, we announce our presence with the Declaration of Absolute Dominion, broadcast on every frequency to ensure the humans understand their fate. Second, we eliminate their pathetic orbital defenses and establish control of their skies. Third, we land our ground forces and accept their surrender. Crax Theta nodded approvingly, his biometallic skin shifting to display patterns of satisfaction. And how long do you estimate until their complete capitulation? Based on our analysis of their technology and psychology, no more than 3 of their solar rotations. They are a fractured species, divided into hundreds of competing nations. They will turn on each other in fear before we even fire our first weapon. By the time our ground forces land, they will be begging for the order we bring. The Supreme Overlord's laughter sounded like grinding metal and dying stars. Then let us begin. Activate the Declaration of Absolute Dominion. Let every human on their little blue world know that their time as a free species has ended. Today they become subjects of the Zephyrian hegemony, whether they wish it or not. On Earth, Lisa Thompson was trying to get her 3 kids ready for school, while simultaneously participating in a video conference with her team in Tokyo. Her 8-year-old son, Jake, was insisting that he didn't need to wear matching socks because nobody would notice anyway. Her twin daughters were arguing over who got to use the tablet for their morning cartoons. The dog had somehow gotten into the garbage again and was proudly displaying his treasure of used coffee grounds across the kitchen floor. "Mom, the TV is doing something weird," Jake called from the living room. "All the channels are showing the same thing." Lisa barely registered his comment as she tried to clean coffee grounds off the dog, while her Tokyo colleagues discussed quarterly projections. "Not now, sweetie. It's probably just a test of the emergency broadcast system. They do those sometimes. But Mom, it's showing weird alien-looking things with wings and too many eyes, and they're speaking in this really deep voice that makes my teeth feel funny." "That's nice, honey. Make sure you have your homework in your backpack." She muted her microphone to address her daughters. "Emma, Sophia, you each get 15 minutes with the tablet. I'm setting a timer. No arguments." The television continued broadcasting the Zephyrian Declaration of Absolute Dominion, complete with impressive visual effects and ominous music that had been specifically designed to inspire terror in primitive species. Unfortunately, young Jake had already gotten bored and switched to his handheld gaming device, where he was much more concerned about catching digital creatures than the announcement of humanity's impending conquest. First contact goes sideways. 3 days had passed since the Zephyrian hegemony broadcast their declaration of absolute dominion across every electromagnetic frequency known to science. Supreme Overlord Crax Theta stood on the bridge of his flagship, the inevitable Dominion, watching Earth grow larger on the main viewing screen. His war council surrounded him, their bio-armor gleaming with anticipation of the conquest to come. War Minister Vexara studied her tactical displays with growing confusion. Her 12 eyes blinked in a pattern that indicated deep bewilderment among her species. Supreme Overlord were detecting massive amounts of electromagnetic activity from the human world, but none of it appears to be defensive preparations. Their military forces haven't even moved to high alert status. Craxus Theta's mandibles clicked dismissively. They are paralyzed with fear, unable to comprehend the magnitude of their doom. Send the scout ships to make contact with their outer system operations. Let them see our power up close before we begin the true assault. 5 Zephyrian scout vessels, each one a masterpiece of bioengineering and quantum mechanics, departed from the main fleet. They headed toward the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, where human mining operations extracted valuable minerals. The scouts expected to find panicked humans fleeing in terror, or perhaps mounting a pathetic attempt at resistance. Instead, they found Jack Morrison and his crew on the mining vessel Rockhopper engaged in their weekly poker game. Jack was down to his last few credits when the proximity alarm went off. He didn't even look up from his cards. "Tommy, would you check what that is? Probably another one of those tourist cruise ships getting too close. Tell them the scenic route to Jupiter is 3 degrees starboard." Tommy Chen floated over to the communication console, still holding his cards. He activated the external cameras and nearly choked on his artificial beef jerky. Jack, you might want to see this. There are 5 ships out there, and they definitely aren't human. They look like someone crossed a sea urchin with a disco ball and gave it tentacles." Jack finally looked up, more annoyed than alarmed. "Great, more aliens. As if we don't have enough trouble with the Centaurians always trying to haggle over mineral prices. Put them on speaker. Let's see what they want." The Zephyrian scout commander's voice boomed through the Rockhopper's speakers. "Primitive humans, you will cease your operations immediately and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate vaporization. You are now subjects of the Zephyrian hegemony." The 5 human crew members looked at each other. Jack sighed and pushed the communication button. "Look, friends, we're in the middle of something here. If you want to file a mining claim, you need to talk to the United Nations Space Commerce Division. They handle all the paperwork. Office hours are Monday through Friday, Earth Standard Time." There was a long pause from the Zephyrian scout ship. The commander's voice returned, somehow sounding confused despite the universal translator. You want us to file paperwork?"
"We are here to conquer you."
Tommy leaned over to whisper to Jack. "Should we tell them about the queue? Remember what happened to those Vegans when they tried to skip the licensing process?" Jack shrugged. "Hey, alien folks, fair warning. The last species that tried to establish operations in the solar system without proper permits got stuck in bureaucratic proceedings for 3 years. The Altarians are still trying to figure out Form 247B. That's the environmental impact assessment for non-terrestrial species. It's a nightmare." On the Zephyrian scout ship, Commander Zexaval turned to his second in command. "What is an environmental impact assessment?" "Unknown, Commander. Our translators suggest it's some kind of evaluation ritual, perhaps a test of worthiness? Meanwhile, on Earth, the United Nations was in the middle of an emergency session. However, the emergency had nothing to do with alien invasion. Secretary General Amanda Foster was trying to mediate a crisis involving global food distribution after unusual weather patterns had affected crop yields across 3 continents. Madam Secretary General, an aide whispered urgently in her ear. We're receiving reports of alien spacecraft in the outer system. They claim to be invading Earth. Amanda didn't even look up from the agricultural reports. Put them on the waiting list. We'll deal with them after we solve the food crisis. India and Pakistan are about to come to an agreement about grain distribution, and I'm not interrupting that for another first contact situation. Remember what happened with the Rigelians? They kept everyone waiting for 6 hours with their interpretive dance of greeting. But madam, these aliens say they're conquering us. Everyone says that at first. It's probably a translation error. Send them the standard first contact package, the one with the trade regulations and tourist visa applications. If they're serious about conquest, they'll need to fill out Form 1157X. That's the declaration of hostile intent. Make sure they get the one in triplicate. Back in the asteroid belt, the situation was deteriorating rapidly for the Zephyrian scouts. They had attempted to board the Rockhopper, only to be informed that without proper vaccination records, they couldn't be allowed on a human vessel due to health and safety regulations. The mining crew had helpfully provided them with a 400-page document outlining the required medical procedures for interspecies contact. This is absurd, Commander Zexavel raged. We are conquerors. We do not submit to medical examinations. Jack's voice came through the communicator, sounding genuinely sympathetic. I hear you, buddy. The bureaucracy is a pain, but those are the rules. Hey, while you're here, you wouldn't be interested in buying some premium asteroids, would you? We've got a special going on platinum-rich ones. 20% off for first-time customers. The Zephyrian commander's bio-armor turned a deep shade of purple, which among his species indicated extreme frustration. We are not here to purchase rocks. We are here to subjugate your species. Tommy's voice joined the conversation. Oh, subjugation? You should probably talk to the folks from Alpha Centauri. They've been trying to subjugate us economically for years. Turns out humans are really bad at being subjugated. We keep accidentally turning conquest attempts into trade agreements. It's actually pretty embarrassing for everyone involved. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Patel at the Arecibo Observatory was having an interesting day. The alien signals were definitely real, and she had managed to establish a sort of communication with what appeared to be the alien fleet's main computer system. However, instead of issuing threats or demands, she was currently engaged in what could only be described as tech support. No, you need to adjust your frequency modulation to account for Earth's magnetosphere, she explained patiently. Our planet has a pretty strong magnetic field, and it's going to interfere with your scanning systems if you don't compensate for it. Try increasing your bandwidth by about 15%. The alien response came back, sounding oddly grateful. Thank you, human technician. Our scanners are now functioning properly. We can now properly target your population centers for maximum psychological impact. Lisa took a sip of her coffee. Oh, if you're trying for psychological impact, avoid New York and Los Angeles. They're so used to weird stuff that aliens wouldn't even make the local news. Try appearing over a small town in the Midwest. They'll at least put you on social media. She heard what sounded like furious discussion in the background of the alien transmission. Then a different voice came through. Human, are you actually helping us invade your own planet? Lisa laughed. I'm just trying to save you some embarrassment. The last aliens who tried to make a dramatic entrance over Tokyo got completely ignored because it was during a Godzilla movie marathon. Everyone thought it was a publicity stunt. They were really upset about it. The Andromedans, I think they were called. Nice folks once they got over the insult.